Welcome at the first The Future is Water Symposium. This is the starting shot of an 8 years The Future is Water initiative, which is initiated by the Royal Dutch Water Association, Watersportverbond, TIG Sports and Allianz. Together, they have embraced the challenge of connecting the appealing world of their sport with those of the challenges around water. My name is Annelies Geen. I'm your host, your moderator of today, and I'm having over 10 years of experience in this industry, the water industry. And when I was asked to support this initiative and also to organize the symposium, my first reaction was, please let's do this then during this week, the week where the world of water comes to Amsterdam. And I think if I see, and if I look around me in the audience, we have already established that we bring new worlds together. Worlds outside the water sphere and inside the water sphere. Today's purpose is that, but it's of course also to inspire you, to make new connections and hopefully create new partnership. But we're here really to let you experience how the power of water and sport can be combined to increase the impact on sustainable water use. Thank you for that quote, Menno. I'm very honored that we have this program for you today. We have two major sport event organizers telling you how their sustainability journey went. They will tell you how they used their platform to make an impact. The Ocean Race and the Golf Open. Very happy that they're here. Then we will have a panel discussion. A panel discussions amongst leaders in water, in sustainability and sport. It will be interactive, so please ask questions and I will introduce to them later. And last but not least, we will have the closing remarks given by Arno van Gerven, Managing Director of het Watersportverbond. But before we start with that, I would like to give my thanks and gratitude to partner in crime, AIWW, Amsterdam International Water Week. I think we established something unique. Unique that we merged a program like this with the Amsterdam International Conference and the Integrated Leaders Forum. We were already this morning having roundtable discussion around the topic, sport and water. We had Marit speaking to the leaders and also giving a Q&A at the Holland Pavillion. And now we're here. And this stage will now be used for the closing of the AIWW, and I would like to, for the closing of the AIWW and they will present the learnings from the last couple of days. It really showed the merger and the collaboration amongst all of those organizations together. So therefore, I would like to ask to the floor Eleanor Treadwell, future water leader, and Menno Holterman, I think we can call him current water leader, chair of AIWW, and also president of Nijhuis Saur Industries. Welcome.
First, we would like to thank everybody else for joining in this afternoon's session. Can I do it without the microphone? Can you hear me at the back if I don't use it? Okay, this is important?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So this morning at the Integrated Leaders Forum, we sent Special Envoy Henk Ovink on his way to the COP with a statement. And this statement intended to bring together the voices of cities, utilities, and industries. And we have a short video detailing the signing itself. And with great pleasure, I hand over this to you. And we wish you a very safe journey, a wonderful time at the COP, and we thank you very much for taking our message forward.
Thanks so much, Eleanor. I want to thank, of course, you all for being able to take this to the climate COP, not the water COP, the climate COP. For the first time since 1977, 46 years after, the United Nations has the courage to organize and hold a water conference, the UN 2023 Water Conference, that will bring the world together on water. And the Netherlands is the honor to be one of the two co-hosts together with Tajikistan. I'm honored to be part of that process. And I think looking towards the future, it should not be about talk. You can inspire that road to 2023 and beyond with best practices, best solutions, and best partnerships, best people. Thank you very much. I'm on my way. Thanks, Eleanor.
Take care.
Amazing.
Take care. So Henk is now on a train somewhere probably underneath the channel, and I was given the task to summarize the morning session and also the Amsterdam International Water Week so far. But when I was thinking and reading the outcomes, how to do this, summing it up into 3 phrases of key takeaway messages proved nigh on impossible, and I don't think that would even do justice to the efforts and diversity that really came out of this session. So I want to link this back to how we started the Integrated Leaders Forum with something that Pieter Gaas, the Delta Commissioner, said, and also links to this beautiful city that we find ourselves in today. And for all the Dutch in the room, I'm going to do my best efforts, so please be kind. The Amsterdam motto is heldhaftig, vastberanden, barmhartig. And this translates for everybody else to valiant. And this requires us to be valiant in the face of risk. Even the invisible risks that we can't yet see doesn't mean that they're not there. Steadfast, with our belief that water is a priority, and we're all here today, really shows the dedication to that. And also, finally, to be compassionate with each other. And networks and people are the future of these solutions. And again, it is testament to everybody here that brings that together. And then to link to Paul Iske, who concluded the opening of the Integrated Leaders Forum with his brilliant failures. I wish you all luck with your brilliant failures. To everybody that contributed with their action agendas, good luck with those. And if you fail, congratulations, you'll have learned something from this experience. And we now have a short clip of Henk on his way to the COP.
Hey, look what I got from the Amsterdam International Water Week. The results from the conversation here in Amsterdam with the global community on water, I will bring to COP26. Not to say that this is the solution, but water is critical, important, and the enabler, the catalyst, the springboard for climate action. And the water community, businesses, scientists, NGOs, and government stand ready to make climate action work. So I'm on my way to COP by train, not plane, and I'll take Amsterdam to Glasgow this year. Thanks very much. Have a great day.
And we also have some more exciting results from the Amsterdam Water Week, so I give the floor to Menno.
Thank you very much. It's really amazing what, thanks to your contribution, we have all achieved today. Just the latest news, 3 minutes ago. We are trending topic number 1 in the world, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. We have 1,500% increase on impressions, 1,500%. And we have 33% growth in the global community. So we are able, thanks to you, thanks to your participation, to really have impact in sharing all the blue-green solutions, contributing to a better world. So, and that is what we are trying to achieve. We started 12 years ago with a small group of dedicated people to organize this event. Some leaders who really thought we need to extend the water community. We need to work with other leaders, other industries, other sectors together. We need to be inspired. 4 years ago, we decided to introduce the Amsterdam Agreements, which are examples of collaboration between public-private partners, initiatives from different groups of people to implement, to contribute to the blue-green solutions. New Amsterdam Agreements have been founded, and it's really nice to introduce to you some of the latest. So I would like to call 2 people very shortly here on stage to give you in a 30-second pitch, share the latest Amsterdam agreements which they have established here with many other people. So Christopher Gessen, maybe you can please come first, and Huub Reinaerts, to share us very quickly what you have achieved here with some of the people attending.
Right. We've all enjoyed coming here. Some of us, like me, have come by aeroplane, and that's bad if we're talking about climate change. So the Amsterdam Agreement that we've reached with Waternet and with Amsterdam International Water Week is to develop or identify projects in the developing world which we can use to offset our carbon footprint for the next Amsterdam International Water Week, so that we can come here feeling that we haven't just built a better world for water, but at the same time we've addressed our own sort of hypocrisy about traveling to do that. And I think the sorts of things that we're talking about is things like fecal sludge management in developing countries where you have a lot of methane emissions, which can very simply, at very low cost, be addressed. And we're going to work with World Waternet to identify those kinds of projects, so next time we can all meet with good conscience.
Thank you very much, Christopher. Huub.
Our Amsterdam Agreement initiative is called Blue Motor, or Blauwe Motor, which is a proposal of the total water sector in the Netherlands on a program of 1 billion euros, 50% financed by the Dutch government, 50% financed by in-kind contributions of the water sector. And the plan is in fact, creating a next generation Delta plan using water technology, advanced technology. In addition to water safety, we want to create water in a circular economy and water to create a robust society. These 2 items will be included in a new program where all the drinking water companies, water boards, technology providers, knowledge institutes will collaborate. And that will be oriented on the Netherlands, creating a kind of Neeltje Jans, the new Delta Works or the Delta Works, but then using the water technology of the future. But of course, the Netherlands don't work for the Netherlands. We want to give an example how to do that also on a global scale. So we want to bring that knowledge to the international field. And that's what we're going to do. It's in fact 100 billion or 100 million per year for the coming 10 years. That's the program we submitted to the Dutch government. So we would like to have your support to help us to make that happen.
Thank you very much. So indeed, these kind of Amsterdam agreements we will follow during the coming period. We will share with you the progress, some of the bottlenecks, some of the challenges. But also, we like to invite you all 2 years from now to come and share with us the results you have achieved, the progress we have made. But we also have been thinking over the last couple of years, how can we accelerate the implementation? What can we learn from people who are really dedicated and passionate? And that is where we started the collaboration through Annelies and many others with the Future is Water initiative. And I have one burning question before we are going to close this edition of the Amsterdam International Water Week to Marit Bouwmeester. Because we have been thinking, if you put everything aside for 4 years to win the gold medal, if we, as leaders here attending, would do the same, can we achieve 4 years from now the blue-green medal? And I would like to ask to Marit, what should we do? What is the best lesson you have learned in your very, very impressive sports career? What should we do? So maybe we can ask you just one final recommendation to help us, to guide us, what we should learn from your sports career. Where is she? There she, yeah, sorry. We are watching in the light. Maybe, no, I will come to you. What is there one golden tip from you?
I'm not sure if there's one golden tip, but I always say I don't believe in talent, I believe in hard work and dedication. And I always feel talent is some sort of an insult, because it almost says that you don't have to work really, really hard. And I think you don't get somewhere without an effort. Someone is not on a certain place without a reason. So I think we should all put in lots of effort. And if we define a clear goal and do it all together, I think we could achieve a lot.
Thank you very much. It's hard work for all of you to come to Amsterdam. It's hard work for all of you to share with us your good practices. It's hard work to organize this event. So a big applause, please, for the many volunteers and the great team which all have put this together, which are working here behind the scene to make this all work. So thank you very much. And for you, you can close it off.
Well, yeah, here we go. That's the end of another beautiful Water Week of Amsterdam, and we look forward to sport now to bring us all together and reconnect with water in a way to inspire us ourselves. And I give the floor to you, Annelies. Thank you so much for participating together in cooperation in the spirit of all of it, which is why we're all here.
Yes,
so, thank you.
And thank you again. I'm using this one. Okay, thanks. Thank you. We're going to start now with the theme of today, using the power of sport to make an impact on the environment and specifically on water. We have the first keynote of today. I'm very happy that she's here. We invited the Ocean Race and especially Lucy Hunt to tell how they race with a purpose. The floor is yours.
We are good. Great stuff. Hi, everyone. Delighted to be here. My name is Lucy. I'm a marine biologist, environmental educator, and ocean advocate. And I've been working in the marine conservation sector for about 15 or over 15 years now, I think. And I joined the Ocean Race in 2017 for the last edition of the race. And I've been working with them ever since. I have to say I'm really delighted to be working with them because it is a whole new platform for ocean conservation and for marine conservation and science. So it's a very exciting platform. So just in case anyone doesn't know what the Ocean Race is, it's a round-the-world sailing race. It actually started out as the Whitbread round-the-world race in 1973. It then became the Volvo Ocean Race, which I think most people will have heard of. And then in 2019, the name changed over to the Ocean Race, putting the ocean front and center of this sporting event. And it is round the world, as I said. It takes about 9 months, and it's thought to be the Everest for offshore sailors. It's really extreme, going around the Southern Ocean, and it's an amazing event that encapsulates a lot of inspiration and, I suppose, adventure, really. So it's great to be a part of it. And before we dive into the Racing with Purpose program, I'm going to invite you all to close your eyes for a couple of seconds and just take 2 deep breaths and think of your favorite ocean scene. What made you happy in the ocean? And 2 deep breaths. So you can open your eyes again, but you can be thankful for the ocean for that second breath of fresh air. The ocean provides us with over half of the oxygen that we breathe. So that was actually only discovered in 1988. We've only explored about 5% of the ocean to date. So imagine what else we don't know, what lies beneath the waves. It's extremely important that we have a healthy ocean. And without a healthy ocean, we cannot have a healthy planet. It is the blue heart of our planet. It provides us with all of this. So the Ocean Race is really dedicated to raising awareness about how important the ocean is and what we need to do to try and protect it. So we do know from many headlines and many scientific studies that the ocean is in a crisis. And we have seen from science, but also firsthand from our sailors, what is happening on the ocean. So our sailors are sailing through mass areas of plastic pollution. They're seeing, after coming back to the race year and year to try and win that trophy, they're seeing less biodiversity in the ocean. And we know through scientific studies that industrial fishing is having a huge impact, with 90% of fish stocks decimated in the last 50 years. There's coral bleaching, there's a lot happening to the ocean, and it's making it unhealthy. So our place in this race for the ocean really is to try and raise awareness and to try and get people to act. We say it's a time to act and to bring people together with the spirit of ocean racing and the unifying power of sport in the race to protect the planet. So we say the race is on. We know that a lot of people aren't interested in science or sustainability. So how can we reach the unreachables, really? And using sport is actually an amazing way. And for a person who's worked in conservation and awareness for 15 years, it's just so exciting to have sporting platforms to be able to use to help raise awareness. So I think it was Nelson Mandela said, sport has the power to change the world. It has the power to unite and inspire. And we definitely see that with the ocean race. And again, it is exciting as a marine biologist and conservationist to be part of it. So we bring the spirit of ocean racing to the race to protect the planet. Our sailors have a story to tell. They have amazing values. When they're going to win that race, they have strategies. They have a focus. And that's what we need to bring to the race to save our planet. We've been talking about conservation for a long time, but we need to have different strategies and we need to focus on winning the race for the planet. And this is something our race chairman, Richard Brisius, says a lot. And this just shows that, you know, we are invested in this race and this mission from all different sides, from top down, and not just the sustainability program and the sustainability team. Click. And then this is something our sustainability director says, and Cecile, that sport first and sustainability everywhere. We are a sporting event, there's no denying that, and we are a sailing event. And the sustainability is now embedded throughout everything that we do, which is really fantastic. So we have our decade of action. You've probably heard of the United Nations Decade of Ocean Science and the Decade for Regeneration. So we are also involved in the Decade of Action. And we have a sustainability mission that has 3 major goals around ocean health. And that's climate change, ocean protection, and ocean rights or governance. So within these goals, we're looking around the climate to reduce our greenhouse gases by 50% by 2030. We're looking to have net zero emissions by 2050, which is what a lot of other organizations are now coming on board with, which is great. And we're also involved in blue carbon finance and funding and promoting blue carbon ecosystems and restoration of these ecosystems. Around protection, we're looking to join with a number of organizations to promote effective marine protected areas, to have 30% of the ocean effectively and fully protected by 2030. And as our sailors are probably the closest to the high seas, besides industrial fishermen that are out there, they're seeing the high seas area, and they're able to tell the story of the high seas. So we're very much behind the High Seas Treaty and International Treaty on Plastic Pollution as well. That was very much our mission in the last race, in the 2017 edition of the race. We joined forces with the United Nations Clean Seas program around single-use plastics. We're also involved in rights and ocean governance, and we're working with policy experts around nature-based rights and how that could apply to the ocean. And we're looking at how can we develop a universal declaration for ocean rights, which is actually similar to what we have for human rights. So, and how can that protect the ocean better? Clicky button. Okay, so we want to give more and take less, and we want to reach a net positive impact, and we want to go beyond that again, and we want to try and restore and regenerate the areas that we're working in and help promote regeneration. So we're looking to reduce our climate impact and our plastic footprint and our resource use, including water. We're advocating through our summits and our learning program and through different campaigns that we're involved in. And then we are also looking to restore and regenerate, as I mentioned, through ocean science, our ocean science program and blue carbon, and our innovation workshops, which I'll tell you a little bit more about. It's a double click, I'm getting it. So our programs, obviously the Racing with Purpose program has to have a few different programs to run all of this. So we are a global sailing race, so we have a global awareness campaign and platform, from the branding on our boats to the branding and look in our race villages. We're able to raise awareness. We have a learning program that I've been very much involved in, and it's now being used in 58 countries around the world by over 180,000 students, and it's available in 8 languages. It's currently available in 5 languages, will be available in 8 languages, including Dutch, so hopefully we'll have a lot of people using it here too. And that really helps young learners learn about the ocean and our connection with the ocean, and then why and how we can protect the ocean. We have our Ocean Race Summits, which are our ocean conferences, which talk about ocean solutions and commitments, and we host them in our race villages. And also The Hague, we had our first virtual ocean summit, which Marcelin here was very much involved in, and it was last year when everything was happening around COVID, so we had to pivot to a virtual event, which is pretty normal these days. But yes, that was our Ocean Race Summit in The Hague. We also have our science program. So our race boats are actually vessels of opportunity for the science community. And on board we have these ocean packs, and they actually take samples that can measure microplastics and can measure sea surface temperature and dissolved carbon. So this sampling pack has been on a number of boats in the race and in the Europe race, which we had earlier this year too. And that data is actually contributing to the global carbon study, which is being presented today at COP26. So that shows how a sporting event science program can go direct to policy, because the data that we're collecting is actually helping with that report. Great, and these are some of the faces you might see in our ocean summits, and some of the people that we work with and organizations that we work with to really raise the voice of the ocean and talk about ocean health and make sure that it's on top of the agenda at many different conferences. And we do that through the Relay for Nature. We have a campaign called the Relay for Nature, and this baton here, the wooden baton, is very much like what is being brought from here to Copenhagen. It actually goes around the world to different conferences, and people can put their wishes or commitments into the baton. So we have had many different people from government level to youth and students put their wishes and commitments into the baton, and it then travels from conference to conference. So it was at the IUCN conference in Marseille this autumn, and it's currently being held at COP26 in the United Nations SDG Pavilion for Sustainable Development Goal 14, Life Underwater. So it's really about raising the voice of the ocean in any conference at all. So we have that for the Relay for Nature. We also have our Sustainable Sports Excellence Program. And Megan, our sustainability manager, I think is probably one of the first people to write a book on sustainable events. So she makes sure that everything we're doing is really sustainable in the event sector. We also have training and engagement for all of our stakeholders. So that's anyone from our team to our staff and our volunteers as well that come on board for the actual race. We have a diversity and inclusion program. So we're working with the Magenta Foundation that help make sure that we have pro sailors and female sailors coming into the sailing industry. And we're building a strategy around our diversity and inclusion as well. So anyone that was in the Hague race in 2018, when the race came in, that is the top picture up there. So it does attract quite a few people. And we do have a footfall of about 2.5 million people come to all of our race villages around the world. It's like a festival in every race village in our host cities. So we are probably the second largest footfall numbers out of any of the sports that are occurring. And obviously with that, you have to try and manage the impact that you can have. So that's why we have our Sustainable Sports Excellence. So for the next race, which is happening at the end of 22 and going into 23, we will have 100% renewable energy supplying our race villages and those festivities. We will have 50% reduction in our greenhouse gases, and then we were doing this previously as well with 0 single-use plastics in any of the beverages and food industry, and then we will only supply food that is verified or sustainable in any of the beverage outlets. You can read it all there, but I'll just pick out another one. So all our partners and stopovers and teams join us in creating a climate positive race. So we'll be looking at offsetting any of our impact, but also investing in blue carbon restoration projects as well as that. So some of the outcomes, we're looking for the highest number of pro-female sailors than any other race and creating a new path for talent and youth in the sailing industry. Again, you can probably read a lot of it, but let's pick the innovation workshops. I haven't talked about that. We're hosting 10 innovation workshops around the world. Our most recent workshop was on sustainable boat building. So we bring together all the sustainable boat building industries to work on how we can have a better sustainable build of boats. So some of the teams are actually measuring their impact at the moment so that they can then reduce that impact. Our learning program I mentioned, all our race teams also sign our sustainability charter so that they will be advocating for ocean health and climate change and also measuring their own GHGs. And I suppose our science program has been very innovative. You know, we've worked with the likes of Geomar and NOAA on how to create the correct equipment that these race boats can take out and use so that they can actually provide relevant data for the science community. This is always a very exciting one. I think it was just spoken about before I jumped up here, but the communications platform is fantastic for the ocean race. We have a new partnership with Time magazine as well, and we're involved with them on a number of levels. Just from the storytelling and the content that we can get to tell the story about the ocean and the sailor story and what they're seeing. It's a whole new way of communicating about the ocean and ocean health, and it really is quite engaging. And so from our social media and all different media presence, we have a very wide outreach. So again, it's, I suppose it's sustainability everywhere and being able to use the platform for raising awareness and empowering people. So people that may never have had an interest in sustainability are now starting to understand the problem and how that affects them, but also what they can do about the issues. Ooh, let's go back. So obviously this would not be possible without any of our partners, and especially our founding partner of the Racing with Purpose program, 11th Hour Racing. And 11th Hour Racing are a foundation that was founded by Wendy Schmidt of the Schmidt Family Foundation, and they're very much involved in supporting sustainability within the sailing and maritime industries. So they're a fantastic organization to be involved with. Okay, well, thank you very much. Yeah. Sorry about the tech. Thank you, Annalise.
Yes? Lucy, thank you so much. I just want to warn you guys, this is really a best practice. So we brought to you here the example that we all strive for. So we can also take smaller steps, because this is just an amazing story. And I think you guys achieved so much already, and we can learn from it, all of us here. Because actually, I was this morning in roundtable session around this topic, and one of the persons was saying, yeah, you know what sports brings? It connects and engages people. And that was a key takeaway. That's what she wanted me to write down as a key takeaway. I'm like, maybe we should learn then from what's already going on. And that's what we want to give you here. Then we go to the next presentation. But unfortunately, due to COVID, Philip Russell from the RNA is not able to join here. So he left us a video. He works together, it's the Open, the Golf Open, who is also has a great example and a great program on how they use how they have a sustainable program, and they actually use water technologies in there. My dear friend Dave is here, sitting here, and he will elaborate on what we will see in the video. I met Dave now 6 years ago. I was pregnant, and you were hydrating me. No. And actually, from there, we got to know each other, and I saw that he was working together with the 11th Hour Racing, but also with the Golf Open, and he managed to get this story out here as well. So we're first going to watch the video of Philip Russell. He's sorry he's not here, and then Dave will finish it.
So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Philip Russell. I'm the Assistant Director of Sustainability at the RNA. I'm really sorry I can't be with you in person in Amsterdam today, but unfortunately the ongoing situation with the pandemic has prevented me from getting across. But anyhow, delighted to be able to record this session for you, and over the next few minutes to talk to you a little bit about a very important project for us called the Open Water Initiative, which we feel was a really great example of how sport can be a showcase and a leadership tool for advancing the sustainability agenda globally, and in this case, particularly with regards to how we think about water. So to start off a little bit about our organization, so we are a global governing body for the sport of golf everywhere outside the US and Mexico. So we're working with about 140 different countries, and we are also the organizer of golf's oldest major championship, the Open. A little bit about our strategy, who we are, what we do, some of our core principles. We're very much focused on ensuring golf is thriving for the future generations, and we like to look at even up to a 50-year timeline. So to make sure the sport is resilient, it's accessible, it's inclusive, and to make the changes now that will ensure it's thriving for the generations to come. So when we think about how we do this and how we go about this work, our strategic pillars, sustainability is one of those. So it's very, very much at the heart of what we do. And we're thinking about how the sport uses resources, how it interacts with the environment, and how it engages with communities of people all around the world. So when we get into this topic, sustainability, and think about how we define it, we use this sentence just here. Through fact-based evidence, contribute and promote environmental excellence and world-class leadership in resource efficiency, conservation, and social value. So in the broadest sense, thinking about how this sport interacts with the natural world. So for us, in terms of the work that we do and our event portfolio, the Open is very, very much our showcase. As I said at the outset, it's the oldest of golf's majors. It's played every July on a links golf course around the UK. So very important for us that it is a real exemplar of sustainability and a great showcase of what we believe is the right way for the sport to move forward and how major events in particular can be good examples. If you've not been to the event in person or you've not watched it on television, it's an absolutely amazing event. As I said, played every July in the UK. On-site attendance can reach up to and over 200,000 people, coupled with a broadcast program that reaches a potential audience exceeding 500 million households. Very, very much an international event. We have the best players from all around the world come to compete. We have fans, volunteers, spectators, staff traveling from all over the globe to be present. And it really is quite a spectacle indeed. So a very, very important opportunity for sport to be a showcase and to send this message out to the world at large. A little bit about our venues. As I mentioned, it does move around the UK's coastline. You can see here the venues that are going to host the championship in the coming years. So we have this, again, fantastic opportunity to engage with different groups of people, with different communities locally, and to think about how can we use this event as the best possible tool to raise awareness and drive action on important sustainability issues. Thinking a little bit about the infrastructure considerations of staging this event, obviously significant. Build would typically start in April, with the event then taking place in July. And it's a huge infrastructure exercise in terms of the temporary structures that will be put on site, energy infrastructure, use of water, use of materials. A huge number of different specialist contractors are involved in bringing this together. And we really do pride ourselves on the Open being one of the world's foremost sporting events. And on all accounts and by all measures, we want to be the best. We want to improve every year what we're doing. So always looking at future trends, future opportunities, and thinking about how we can evolve and how we can lead. So this brings us nicely then to thinking about sustainability and legacy, and in particular, the opportunity, the role of sport to help catalyze action on these global sustainability challenges and opportunities. So we will absolutely be looking at international perspectives, evidenced here through the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and thinking about what are the areas that we can help advance, that we can help drive change in, and that we can ultimately help raise awareness of and use sports as a catalyst to advance. So looking again at the wider perspective, we pay a lot of attention to what's happening within the International Olympic Committee, the IOC, and there's more and more emphasis coming on sustainability and legacy. So looking at the role of major events and the importance for organisers to pay attention to these issues and thinking about where are the opportunities for collaboration, for investment and raising awareness. So for us, for our event, we're very, very committed to leadership, to innovation, to inspiration and providing that global showcase and using our event as that front door, if you like, to talk to the world at large, both sports fans and non-sports fans, about some of these issues and about some of the changes that we can make. So we bring all this work together via what we call the Green Links program for the Open. So this was an initiative that we set up in 2016 as the umbrella sustainability program for the Open. So under the Green Links banner, this is where we address all of the sustainability and legacy concerns, issues for the Open Championship. A quick snapshot of the broad scope of different issues that we look at under Green Links. You can see them on the slide here. I won't go through all of them in detail. But of course, some of the main ones you'd expect to find here, such as energy, transport, catering, materials, waste management, and of course, water, as we're going to talk about in particular. So bringing us on then to the Open's specific connection with water. We share a very, very deep connection with the coastal ecosystem. The Open is always played on a links golf course, a seaside golf course. So quite literally, the ocean is the backdrop for this championship. So we felt this was a very, very important opportunity then to use this event as a showcase for highlighting the issues that we're facing in terms of marine plastic pollution, thinking about the way that we engage with water globally, and some of the little positive changes that we can make at the individual level. It goes without saying that the world at large now is more and more aware of the problems that we're facing around how we access drinking water, in particular the plague of single-use plastic, and this reliance that we've had across society on a throwaway culture and thinking about drinking water coming in a single-use plastic bottle. We would put our hands up and openly admit that in years past, we too were part of this, in that we were reliant on single-use plastic water bottles for staging this event. We'd be getting through up to and over 100,000 bottles over the course of the championship, obviously quite significant. And we knew this was something that we had to change. So we wanted to move away from this and we had to innovate. So this was then the background for creating this project, the Open Water Initiative, which was to think about how can we tackle this problem of single-use plastic waste, how can we raise awareness of ocean pollution, and how fundamentally can we change behavior through the platform of this major sporting event. So at the heart of this project then was initiating this change, this removal of single-use plastic water bottles and transition over to a new way of accessing drinking water via refillable bottles and on-site water purification stations. So we were delighted to collaborate with Blue Water, and you'll hear from Dave Noble at Blue Water shortly a little bit more about the specific solutions that Blue Water can provide and how they're working with other sports events around the world. But for us, this was a great fit to be able to install these wonderful on-site Blue Water water stations, providing unlimited, free, purified, chilled drinking water for players, staff, officials, fans on-site. And a big part of this project then was communication, in that we did a lot pre-event to encourage people to bring their own refillable bottles, to say that this project would be in place, why we were doing it, to help address marine plastic pollution, and as a community all coming together to help drive change and make a difference. So this was really a stepwise transition, and we were delighted then to become one of the first major sporting events in the world to completely eliminate single-use plastic water bottles, and in their place to offer these on-site purification solutions coupled with refillable bottles. We did a lot of work to tell this story pre-event, during the event, and after it. Example, some of the on-site messaging. For our on-site delivery, working very, very closely with all of our event partners to ensure that no single-use plastic water bottles were being provided, none were sold on site, and in their place to offer these wonderful Blue Water stainless steel refillable bottles. This went right the way through to players, obviously the key ambassadors for this event, who people are seeing on television walking around the golf course. All the players were provided special edition Blue Water refillable bottles, actually name personalized for the bottles. Very, very powerful opportunity then, coupled with broadcast coverage to raise awareness and tell this story. So you'll hear again from Dave a little bit in a minute about the technology itself, water purification, what goes into making these superb bottles. And for us, it was a great fit in terms of helping us solve one of our key sustainability challenges at our championship, but simultaneously enabling us to do a very, very important piece of work around raising awareness and driving behavior change. And we thought what a superb platform this was. This was a photo from Royal Portrush over in Northern Ireland. We actually commissioned some sand art on the beach. We were delighted that the project in 2019, when we launched this, was supported by the UN Environment Programme Clean Seas campaign, and hence the messaging on the beach here. As we've since grown and we've developed this project further, we were delighted that this year in 2021, one of our official patrons for the Open, MasterCard, came on in a sponsorship capacity. So MasterCard, one of our key partners, sharing a commitment to sustainability, said this is a wonderful platform for us to work with you, to collaborate and to tell this story collectively together. So we partnered with MasterCard for the delivery of the project at the 149th Open at Royal St George's Golf Club this year. And MasterCard set up an initiative a few years ago called the Priceless Planet Coalition, designed to tackle climate change through the restoration of forests globally. So we used this project then to help raise funding support through voluntary donations at water stations, through sale of refillable bottles, to help raise revenue for global tree planting projects with the Priceless Planet Coalition. So we thought, again, this shows how you invest initially. We did invest in 2019 significantly to bring this project to fruition, but then how a few years forward, we've been able to collaborate with one of our key partners to create new areas of shared value and to raise this platform even higher. So a little shot just to finish with here. We were delighted to have Niall Horan help us to communicate this project on site at Royal St George's. And again, really thinking then about the role of influencers, about the role of social media to help raise awareness of these kind of projects and just show the willingness that is out there amongst the public to help work with event organisers and collectively as a community to drive change and make a difference. And so just before I hand over to Dave Noble at Blue Water, you've listened to me speak about this project, what went into creating it, how we implemented it on site, but I thought you might like to see a little bit of the footage from actually how the delivery materialized on the ground. So I hope you enjoy this short clip of the Open Water Initiative in play at the Open.
Trees are, they're beautiful to look at. When you lie under a tree and you look up, it's one of the most sort of soothing things in the world. They say golf is a good walk spoiled, and I think that's part of it, is that you should just be out there, be at one with the golf course and nature a little bit.
So when we look back to 2019 and the 148th Open at Royal Portrush, we launched a very special new project in the sustainability arena. And this initiative, which we referred to as the Open Water Initiative, was designed to completely eliminate single-use plastic water bottles from the open.
Being role models, it's not just about hitting good shots and, being a good athlete. I think just being a human being and taking care of what we have, which is the planet.
The Priceless Planet Coalition is an engaging platform that is aiming to plant 100 million trees by 2025. Deforestation is one of the biggest global challenges that we are faced with today. We are losing at least 10 million hectares of forest every year. When you lose forests, you're losing the habitats for biodiversity, you're contributing to climate change through the carbon that is lost when deforestation is happening, and on top of that, it really affects rural livelihoods.
So for us, it's important now to look forward and think about, well, how can we do more? How can we build this platform and make it even more powerful? So we're delighted in 2021 to be collaborating with one of our official patrons for the Open, MasterCard, to use the Open Water Initiative as a tool for raising awareness and generating funding support for the Priceless Planet Coalition.
One person can't make a massive change, but if we all get behind it, obviously that incremental change, it becomes a big change in the end.
We can all make a contribution to this by bringing your own refillable bottle to the event, by making a voluntary donation at the water stations. For every refillable bottle we sell on site, we'll make a donation to the Priceless Planet Coalition. People can also contribute at select venue locations and online. And we think together as a community through this championship, we'll be able to do something really special to help play a part in restoring global forests.
When it comes to protecting the future of our planet, we believe there's strength in numbers.
Please go to theopen.com/Mastercard to make a donation today.
Every person can make a positive difference.
Everybody plays a part.
I think, again, a great example. And the one thing that I get from this message is you need to invest first, and then you will also gain. So investing, if that's in time, in money, and then that will all contribute to the sustainability goals. But Dave, please enter the floor. Dave Nobles is here from Blue Water. As you saw, the Blue Water group was building the stations, and he can tell you about the technology, but also how that partnership has been established. So go ahead.
Thank you very much. Gosh, I'm thrilled, happy, overjoyed. I think it's wonderful to be here in Amsterdam after a year of COVID, frankly, and it's wonderful to see all you people sitting here enjoying the proceedings here. So my thanks to Annelies and also to Allianz Water Sport and TIG Sports for arranging this event for us. I'd like to start by a question, if I may. We do live in a world which is dominated by plastic. So actually my question is, how many of you over the past week or two have been obliged to drink water from a single-use plastic bottle? Could you raise your hands? All right, some quivered, but a lot of you were very honest there. And that's how pervasive single-use plastic water bottles are. Now, I I'm Dave Noble, as you've probably gathered, and I work with a company called Blue Water. We've existed since 2014, and we've built our business on delivering absolutely clean water to people, but we're also a purpose-driven business. We have embedded ending the need for single-use plastic bottles right at the heart of everything we do. And we've done that by developing technologies and business solutions that can help events move, as Philip has pointed out, from supplying single-use plastic bottles to the public. I mean, the big problem is that many events have relied on single-use plastic bottles, not only to keep people hydrated, but also to improve their bottom line. It's made money for them. Well, we have to change that, and we can change that. It's a great pleasure, actually, because I'm sitting here with many friends as well, who I haven't seen for a long time. Amongst others, Lucy. We worked back in 2017 with the Volvo Ocean Race. It was a huge program for us, and we deeply enjoyed it. And I noticed that actually Lucy still has one of our bottles from there, so that's a great example for how businesses can provide solutions to sporting events. There's no doubt about it. People go to sporting events and other festivals because they want to enjoy themselves, but they're not going to enjoy a planet where what they're drinking, what they're consuming, is actually going to do them damage in the long run. So my message to you here today is that any of you who are involved in arranging sports and festivals, stop thinking about the single-use plastic bottles. There are solutions to deliver clean water to people out there. We deliver one of them. And there are also solutions to ending the need to use single-use plastics. Single-use plastics, by the way, contributed to 17,500 tons of plastic going into the oceans around the world last year, and that's not very, very good for us. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much on behalf of Blue Water. I leave you with this message, as Philip and as Lucy also said, together we are stronger. Thank you.
Dave, you can stay on the stage. You can take a seat.
Okay.
Because you didn't use your presentation, by the way.
No, I know I didn't, but the reason was that, Philip talked so well about us, he took up all of our minutes. Yeah. And you bossed me into saying you only have a couple of minutes to speak. So there you go. So it was better to throw my presentation away and just ad-lib it.
We will share it. We will make sure that it's available for you. So it is, and you see it here in the background.
Well, we can flick through it very quickly. So.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. So.
No, I think the message is clear. And now, after listening for an hour, we are still going to listen, but I also would like you to give the opportunity to you to ask questions. We had two keynote speakers, Lucy and Dave. I would like to ask them to the floor, and we're going to have two panel discussions. We divided them in two, because we have so many great thought leaders in water, sports, and sustainability that we're dividing it in two sessions of around 15 to 20 minutes. So Dave, Lucy, and then Joanna, can you come to the stage as well? And I have to pee. Paul, of course. Paul, can you come to the stage as well? There's a fourth chair coming. And I will be standing right here.
In the hot seat.
There will be hand microphones there. This is not good. I will be standing at the side. Can we go to the... So two of the panel members already introduced themselves. And of course, I would also give the opportunity to the two new panel members, Paul Muller and Joanna. So can you please give a short introduction about yourself and also why you're sitting here? What's the connection between water and sports? Paul, I give the floor to you first.
My name is Paul. Let me check this one. Yeah, my name is Paul Muller, working at Allianz, Allianz Benelux in this case. And the link to sport and sustainability for us is one that we find in a partnership with the Water Sports Federation, a partnership with Sea Shepherd, and a partnership with the IOC, so worldwide. And locally, we partner up with sports to get the sustainability message we think is very important across. And we'll get into that more in the panel discussion.
Okay, is this working? Hi everyone. Just like the other speakers, I'm very happy to be here again after 2 years. I see some people have difficulty seeing me, so hello. My name is Ioana Dobrescu. I'm the Managing Director of Water Footprint Implementation, and that's a small Dutch organization that works with the academic concept of water footprint, bringing it into practice, which means we work with businesses and government organizations, quantifying their water use along the supply chains, and also quantifying the amount of pollution that's being caused. And I'm here today because we're also a partner of 11th Hour Racing team, so one of the teams that's participating in the ocean race. And we're a partner helping them quantify the amount of water that they're using throughout the race and also come up with methods for reducing that for the following races.
As I said, we have a panel with people related to water, sports, and sustainability. I'm really honored that you're here. I wrote down a few questions myself, but I do want to make it interactive, so I give the opportunity to the audience to have questions. Is there anyone already out there that has a question that he or she wants to ask? Otherwise, I start with the first question myself. Lucy, I didn't see it in the presentation, but the ocean is the only shareholder we report to. It was in the previous one, I believe. Can you elaborate on that? Because in sports, in an industry where money also talks, it's also about that. So, ocean, the only shareholder? Can you...
Yeah, so I think it's coming from Richard Breeses. So he's our race chairman and the owner, one of the owners of the race. So it's really saying, you know, how important the planet is, and that it's really, in bigger thinking, it's the most important thing that we have to report to. So if we're not thinking about planetary health, we're not thinking about everything else. So that is where I think he's coming from with it. So environment first, and then we bring in everything else after.
So money is not the main purpose, it's really the...
Well, it can't be at this stage. You know, we have to have money to have the race, of course, but we have to be thinking bigger because the cause and the issues are bigger than just money at the moment. Yeah.
Anyone already a response or a question about this? Not? No questions? Then I'm moving along. Paul, you have, with this partnership with the Future is Water, with het Watersportbond, you're the sponsor of this association. You probably have marketing and branding goals. Do you also have impact goals related to this sponsorship, partnership?
Let me start with something about money. Allianz is a worldwide insurer. We are also a worldwide asset manager. And we manage over 2.2 trillion euros. 2.2 trillion. Being an investor comes with responsibility. And Allianz has taken this up as co-founder of the Net Zero Asset Alliance. Net Zero Owner Asset Alliance, sorry. This was founded in December 2020. At that time, we partnered up with a couple of large global investors as well, totaling 10 trillion euros. Now, 1 year later, we see that we combine 57 trillion in investment power committed to the 1.5 degrees target setting for 2050 and 2030. So this is what we do as a company. We can steer business by investing in companies and requesting things to change for the better. We only have one planet, we need to be a bit careful. So that is where we make impact. It is also lost for the larger community, because this is something we do as an investor. And what can you show that you make these changes? And that's where we make the link to sports. That's where we make the link to other partnerships, where we can show that also in practice, we have examples where we show commitment. So the true power is in the investment side, and the showcase, the awareness, is in the partnerships.
Agreed.
thank you for this answer. I'm going to look again to the audience. I thought it would be a little bit, oh, I see a question there. Maybe just scream. There is a microphone coming.
Thank you. My name is Boudewijn from the National Maritime Museum here in Amsterdam. Well, when I see all these big audiences, I suppose they don't all come on foot or, well, rowing. So one of the challenges also we have as a museum, how to change the way people come to these events, because you don't want them to come by plane or by SUV or, well, probably by bike. So what are your ideas about that changing behavior of the transportation?
Maybe Lucy has the...
Yeah, sure. So for any of our race village sites, we would have recommendations on how to get to our festival area or race village and make sure that there is sustainable travel measures. One of the best examples would have been in Gothenburg in the 2018 race, where we had electric buses transferring people to the race village. So that was really good. And all of our staff, because we do have a big staff force for each event, they would all be given a sustainable travel guide before the travel to the actual host city. So there's measures put in place there. Yeah. Anything else?
Satisfied answer?
Okay, thanks.
Yes, thank you. Joanna, we in the background you see the quotes. I know you cannot really read them there, but they're also on the side. These are all thought leaders, and they gave the quote like how they see this, how they see water and sports. And Joanna, you said that every year it's still more scarce and polluted, the water. You are the water expert here amongst this panel as well. What are we doing wrong then?
Well, I don't think we have enough time in this panel to discuss what we're doing wrong. But I think what I was trying to touch upon in that quote was to use the force of sports to drive change for water as well. And what I meant by that is that sports people in general have this ability of pushing what is humanly possible as a boundary. And I think, just as also Menno said at one point today, if we could capture that attitude in the water sector and try within 4 years or 8 years to really push the boundaries of what's doable to improve water availability, to reduce water pollution, then I think we have a lot to learn from our colleagues in the sports sector.
Looking again. Yeah, maybe it also shows that what I said this morning, we had roundtables sessions, and I was sometimes surprised still with the lack of awareness on what's going on and what could be used and could be done. One of the things that we concluded there was also that maybe the cities have a responsibility as well. I mean, governance, if you have a marathon in a city, then how much plastic is then ending up on the streets? So is anyone of you wants to agree or disagree how the government, the cities, needs to be involved in the in sports events and the regulations of this? Dave.
I wasn't planning to answer that question, Annelies. And I'm not sure I have an answer to it either, but I would say that one of the biggest problems that we have today is that very many people in very many places around the world, both the industrialized world and the developing world, are frightened about the water that's coming out of their taps. They're frightened about the potential contamination that's in it. And the reality is that most of the time they are justified in that fear. You only actually have to look at what is going on in the United States at the moment to understand that the water coming out of people's taps is basically undrinkable, and that's in one of the most advanced countries in the world, on paper at any rate, and probably in reality. But we have to address that fear. We have to actually say to people there are alternatives, and what we've done at Blue Water is try to say, look, there are existing solutions already that actually will not cost the earth. They actually will save the earth if we apply them. We apply those in sports. And if more and more sports, like the RNA, like the Volvo Ocean Race did before, like our collaborators, 11th Hour Racing, I think we're all intertwined in one way or another. Once we start realizing that we can use human ingenuity to apply solutions that will help people start trusting the water they're putting inside themselves again. And when it comes to the role of cities, I would suggest to cities that they don't just put up hydration stations that churn out more water from the tap that won't solve the problems that people feel they have, but instead they make a real effort to actually develop water delivery solutions that tackle the major issues.
You want to respond, Lucy?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with David, but also just for the ocean race, we're already working with our host cities to make sure that they can raise the bar in sustainability before we even arrive. So we work with the local government agencies and the host city organizers, supporting them in making sustainable movements so that when we do arrive, they feel like they're fully supported, they can provide a sustainable event, and then we leave a legacy afterwards, which is really great. Yeah.
I do want to refer back to the water tap. It can be gold at home, it can be silver, it can be black, but isn't it the other way around also the problem that a lot of us think, and hopefully not too many anymore, but think that you just open the tap and water comes out, and the value of water is minimum. It just comes out. Every other thing that we have in this planet has ingredients on it, or how it's being produced, and water comes out of the tap.
Annelies, can I just, jump in there? I don't know if I jumped ahead of you there, Lucy. I apologize if I did. But it's totally unacceptable that we have companies like Coca-Cola, Nestle, and others who are taking municipal water, marking it up by 2,000%, and then selling it in a single-use plastic bottle. That is not sustainable. That is not the way forward. Unfortunately, Coca-Cola and Nestle and others, I'm not sure if there's anyone here, they can ask a question of me if they are from Coca-Cola, but that's not sustainable, and it's not sustainable for large events and festivals to be working with the likes of companies who do not really care about what it is that they are delivering to people. These are simple facts, and I think that, you know, the more that we are aware that we can apply technologies that can stop the need to put expensive water into us from a bottle that actually we could either get from the tap or purify simply at home. Just one more final point from my side, sorry. I did keep my speech short, didn't I?
Yeah. Take the time right now, that's good.
But just one final point is that I just read some research last week that, and we were talking about microplastics earlier on, that from New York, and that is that babies, when they are first born, actually have what the first poo they make is absolutely, or should be, absolutely natural. They've come straight from the womb and then they poop it out. They've now discovered microplastics in that first poo. That's before the baby has been handed a plastic bottle or anything else. And that is not acceptable either. That already today, young kids are being born from a place of perceived, well, not my stomach, but a place of perceived safety, and they're being born already with something that will probably endanger their long-term health.
Joanna, do you want to respond? Joanna, you're from Water Footprint. You measure the amount of water used at those corporates as well. What's your opinion?
Well, the way we measure water is actually much more complex. So we go beyond the water that comes from the tap, and it's a good place to start. But the actual consumption of a person from tap or their kitchen, their bathroom, is just 1% of their entire water consumption. So the way we work, for example, with the 11th Hour racing team is that we look at the water that's used in producing basically all the items in their inventory during their race, the food that they eat, also the water that it took to build the boat, for example. And we're trying to look together for more sustainable alternatives for the coming races. And what we also bring additionally, on top of the awareness on tap water quality, on top of the awareness of how much water you're actually using through all the products that we're consuming, is also the virtual water trade. And this might be a new concept for a lot of people. But basically, every product that is being produced, it's being produced with a certain amount of water. And when that product is being traded across borders, we say there's also a trade in virtual water taking place. Because you're basically used up water in a specific location, which is not available for other uses for people in that location. So what we're trying to work together with the team and with the platform that the Ocean Race is offering is to bring awareness on this type of water consumption. Because a lot of the trade that's going on is actually taking place on the ocean routes. And it's removed from our awareness. It's, it happens somewhere there where nobody can see it through those cargo ships, basically. So what we're trying to do is to bring that reality that so far has been far removed from us closer to us through the platform of the Ocean Race. And we're basically looking at specific items that many people recognize from the stopovers where the Ocean Race will stop. And we'll be tracing the virtual water trade contained in those products from one location to the next. And we hope like that people, when they do go to the race villages, when they do go to the supermarket the next day, they'll think a bit twice before buying maybe that extra item that they don't need, or making just better and wiser choices in their consumption. So that's a bit extra on top of the whole awareness of tap water.
I think it's really great that you're involved as well, because it starts with knowing and measuring. If we don't know, we can't do anything about it. So measuring the water footprint and the impact of the boat build, that's something really important, and that was involved in our Sustainable Boat Building Innovation Workshop, where all the industries came together. So now we have a measurement, and now we know where we need to get to and how. Now we have to come up with how do we get there. So people are working together to do that. So it's all about innovation and working together again. Yeah.
Collaboration to scale.
It's what's needed. Yeah.
And I think that at least, sorry, just to add a bit more, the team we're working with, the 11th Hour Racing team, has already done so much in the past, like Lucy has also shown. Taking samples during the race that are then analyzed by researchers. They've introduced Meatless Mondays to reduce their water consumption. They've been using LCA analysis, various LCA tools to track their water consumption. And now they're also bringing in this additional layer of water footprinting to the mix to improve even more their understanding of water consumption and water pollution.
Paul, you wanted to respond? Oh.
The audio. No. Oh, again, it's back. Linking this also back, because I couldn't agree more, to your question on the cities and how they are involved. In sports, you need the sport, you need the city where you want to do the event, and you have your sponsors. And sustainability is becoming so important that I think for cities, for sponsors and sports, having the sustainability at par and raising the bar year on year is simply a given. It's not about simply paying money to have an event there. You want to have the additional part as well, because for us, our corporate story wouldn't be true if you let that go on. So there you need to act.
I think this is a great way of ending this first panel discussion, unless there's still someone in the audience that would like to ask a question. Eenmaal, andermaal. Okay, then we're going to ask the second panel, because the sooner the panel is over, the sooner there's drinks as well. So we're going to thank you, really, all of you, very much for your contribution, for your knowledge and your...
Thank you.
And now I would like to ask to the stage Carolina, Will Sarney, and I have to peek again. Marceline, of course. Next slide. We have here again a mix of people, and actually all of them have multiple hats on. especially the ladies over there. They can explain that better themselves, but multiple heads in which they try to, in which they try to create, to have impact. And Will is lucky to sit with 3 ladies on this stage. Yeah. And Will, I can honestly say, he's a thought leader in this water industry. He works together with a lot of corporates, so I thought it was a great mix. There's another passion that's being combined by 2 of them, and that's rowing, also a sport that uses water. So we have a second panel, and we're going to do basically the same. Again, there's opportunities to ask questions, but because you guys don't have those, I will first again ask everyone to introduce themselves shortly and what their connection is with sports and water. Carolina, can you start?
Yeah, I'll start. So I'm Carolina Willinga. I'm first of all a passionate rower still. And I am a member of the board of the Dutch Rowing Association. And besides that, I'm a CFO of a company which is called BDR Thermea Group in the thermal comfort solutions. So that has to do with heating of water to heat houses and to get hot water. In the Netherlands, it's known by the brand of Remea, but we have many other brands in other countries. And we're the 3rd largest of the world, actually, with a head office in the Netherlands. And I have supervisory roles. I have a supervisory board role at GasUnie, which is a state-owned company moving from gas to hydrogen, and there the water-related hydrogen comes into play. And I'm the chair of the supervisory board of NX Filtration, which is a still small, but growing rapidly company in nanofiltration out of the Netherlands. That's it.
Oh, that's just it. I'm Marceline, originally an Olympic sailor, so this is my playing field. Then started working for Top Sector Water and Maritime, which means that we help innovations to get faster to the market. I have a little hand in Dutch Sail and then the sustainability program. I'm chef de émission of NLC and NSF, and sometimes they call me the mayor of the North Sea. So that's a lot, but everything that has to do with, say, sustainability, water and sports, I'm really happy and fanatical about it. So I'm happy that actually the future is water is happening. As a chef d'émission, I love it. This is what we really need. This is what I stand for, actually. I think we should make it a lot easier for sports, for athletes, actually for everybody, but definitely sports, to have a festival or a sport event and have a lower impact. I'm happy enough to have been working with the Ocean Race to make the summit happening, like just been told. So I know a little bit about it, and we can do a lot more as long as we put the knowledge together. And I think that not only technology, because that's really important, but also changing our way of looking at the market. It's not about money, it's more about what we include. If we include biodiversity, if we include the water footprint, that's in a little while, I hope, more important than the worth set in dollars or in euros.
This one's better.
Thank you. So, Will Sarney. I am the CEO of Water Foundry. I work with U.S. and non-U.S. multinationals, some of the brands that were mentioned earlier, I might add. That was meant for a laugh. But on corporate water strategy, so helping companies understand water as a business risk and what their role is in solving some of these challenges that we face in the world of water. I also work with water technology companies that are solving scarcity, quality, and equitable access issues. I believe I was invited because of the belief that we need to engage civil society and the sports communities in solving water. We absolutely cannot do it alone. And a couple of little tidbits. I started my career in the world of water because I got hooked on surfing a very long time ago. thought I wanted to get into oceanography, and then I got a job with a groundwater consulting firm. So not saltwater, freshwater, been doing that for a long time. I took up rowing a few years ago, absolutely hooked on rowing, and we are collaborating with WWF and World Rowing in getting the US rowing community to understand the value of water beyond just gliding on water in a scull or a sweep boat. And I'm stunned by how many of my colleagues, rowing friends, don't really get the value of water, the importance of the quality of water. And I will tell one other story. I refused to do a flip test in a single scull because of the quality of water. And that got a lot of attention. It generated a conversation around, you really don't know the quality of water in the reservoir that we row in. And that turned out to actually be a very powerful message to folks that love to row but don't know. So thanks for the opportunity to be here.
Welcome. Will, then I know you, I think, also the best, so I want to start with you. And what we referred already to today is also what is the role of the corporates? And we have a similar belief. They are part of the 21st century solution because they have their power, their money for implementing. They have a lot of employees. Can you elaborate on that? Because I know you share this.
Sure. So it goes beyond just the fact that I do a lot of work with corporations. You know, the way I look at it is that, you know, entrepreneurs and investors, they have a really important role to play in solving these water-related challenges. But, you know, they have speed, they don't have scale. The public sector has enormous scale, but don't innovate quickly at all. And, you know, everybody else sort of sits in the middle. Corporations have the ability, once they get it, to understand that they can be part of the solution to really have a positive impact. You know, it's not evenly distributed, certainly. Some industry sectors move faster than others. I think the food and beverage sector, despite, you know, some of the past practices and challenges that they have, actually get that there is a lot of brand value to be created if they are part of the solution. So I love talking to people that don't get it, quite frankly, and getting them to think differently about their role in solving some of the really critical water-related issues that we have. So that's, you know, one of the stakeholder groups that I push, and then also think about how they're connected to customers and consumers and engaging civil society in understanding that, you know, water has value beyond the price or full cost.
And it brings me to Carolina, because as you mentioned, you are also involved with Missie H2, Missie H2, and I think it is a good example of how corporates, companies, join forces and are behind the mission. What can we learn? Because it is a mission on hydrogen, but what can we learn about it here? And I think water is quite conservative, so can you elaborate on that a little bit?
I think Mission H2, hydrogen, is initiated by the Gasunie. And what it does, it is a platform which basically brings together different companies, organizations, governmental institutions around the setting up of a hydrogen economy. So it's, but it's also related to the sports, so the water sports. And the latter is also to create the awareness. But I think what is very strong is that it really brings together the full chain. And that makes it very powerful. So it's a platform that, for example, okay, so you have Gasunie, Shell, Toyota, Stedin, Remea, other companies. So Gasunie, Shell are building together an electrolyzer to produce hydrogen. So they are investing. With Gasunie and Remea, we're investing in boilers so that we bring hydrogen to their homes, to the building environment. At the same time, we use the Olympic Games like Tokyo and now again Paris as a landmark with targets that we want to achieve with those companies and organizations to increase, let's say, the hydrogen economy and to really accelerate, but at the same time use the water sports as a metaphor and the ambassadors to bring the awareness up. And I think if I look at that, and I relate that, I bring that to the water world, which I'm quite new to this world with NX Filtration just since this summer and being here. I think we can, become much stronger if we think big and if we bring together these change. So the keten. So with more companies, with governmental institutions, and really getting into the action.
So that's what you take, being just shortly in the water industry and here today and yesterday. That's your takeaway.
That's absolutely my takeaway, and it's. I do see that in the energy transition. So to hydrogen, Gasunie has a leading role. So I do think that there should be maybe one or two organizations that have to stand up and say, hey guys, I'm looking at that and that might be best practice. So I'm standing up, I'm going to do this. Because you do need one or two initiators that really take the lead and then go for it. And I think that's the challenge in this world.
And Marceline, you're working, of course, for NOC-NSF as not a chef de mission, but a mission. Also just started. Can you already elaborate a little bit on the plans? Like, what are some actions plans that will be taken in the future with your new role?
Absolutely not.
Oh.
No. Well, the good stuff is there's a lot of stuff happening already. I think sailing and golf are actually two sports that are pretty ahead. Basically, because we're out there, we're out on the water. Every sailor had one race that didn't work out because they had plastic on their rudder or centerboard or something. Golf has been out there. I know marathon runners cannot run because the water is the air is too polluted. So athletes know about it. And we just did a zero measurement of the Olympic team going to Japan. Some people think the Olympics should always be in Athens and not in Japan or in Paris or whatever, because we travel so much. But if we really want to be sustainable, everybody should just go home and start growing their own garden. So we cannot do that. But we have to find solutions that make it better. Going to places is still the biggest impact, so going with a plane. Paris is going to be perfect for the Dutch because we're going to go all by train or maybe some people bike there. But Paris is going to be a lot better, but after that it's going to be Los Angeles for the Summer Games. So
swimming?
Swimming, yeah, maybe we can go swimming. But one of the cool stuffs actually about swimming, I mean, swimming in a pool is really not sustainable. There's a lot of water. Talking about water footprint, Iona, it's not really good. But for Paris, there's a Dutch company that started building the facilities. And one of the things about, you have technology solutions, but you also have social innovations. So they start doing it in Saint-Denis, which is not really it's a low profile part of Paris, and they try to connect all the people that live there into the swimming pool by being a volunteer or helping during the Olympic Games, and also learning them how to swim, which is actually pretty key for a person how to swim. It's good for their for belief. It's also good for trust in yourself. So the Olympic movement has more impact in that way. Well, stuff like that are here around. And it's the agenda is going to be full of that kind of stuff. I wanted to have it ready in December, but yeah, I always go a lot faster than the people around me, and I really need the people around me to make a really good agenda. So it's probably going to be March. But there's so many cool stuff out there. It's really unbelievable. Mission Hey 2 is one of them, actually. We did a race, by the way, in September, a hydrogen boat built by students competing with a rower. the rower still won. So we still need the Dutch knowledge. I don't mean the Dutch knowledge, but we need the people to think about it and make it happen. But like grass mats on the hockey field, they have a lot of impact on plastic because they're made out of plastic. If you want to take them away, you still have a lot of garbage left. If you fall on it, it's not really good for your knees either. There is actually a grass mat for hockey which is completely sustainable. It's just too expensive right now. Yeah. And that, it makes me angry sometimes. Why is everything about money? We can do so much more
money
without
talks,
the money.
I just heard.
Yeah. So what if we just say the grass mat is not about money, it's about biodiversity?
Yeah, but
then
I think we also need to keep reality of there's business and there needs to be money being made and all. So it's a
but
balance.
We need a dream too, huh?
Sorry?
We need to dream as well.
We need to dream.
Make
we need
it
to think big, that's for sure. And I'm thinking big as well, so I'm going to try it one more time. Is there anyone who has a desperate question to any of these panel members? I know that they will be walking around. Frodo, of course. You didn't... Yeah, exactly. Frodo.
Good evening, everybody. This is indeed my dream already. I think my journey started in 2005 at the Volvo Ocean Race. I'm now very proud to be working with Waternet. I'm sort of heading the international department, World Waternet. And talking about the dream, Marceline, I think is how to bring this dream of the future is water, the power of sports, to, for me, the utilities that are landlocked, and Mali as an example, how to bring this message, this awareness, this leadership, to areas where we can work together using the power of sports to clean up an ecosystem, to do capacity development, leadership, and these kind of things. So that's the dream where worlds already come together. So congratulations with the future is water. I think this is for me is sort of a nice moment. Starting to get emotional, sort of memory lane. But I'm looking forward to explore, to see how we can bring this dream to countries which are mostly hurt. Maybe it's also for me to sort of step into a world where we talk about beautiful things. But I would love to sort of at least show my leadership and recognition to bring this platform also to the utilities that we're working in more difficult places. So thanks.
Thank you for this input. Will, can I give the final remarks to you? Do you want to leave a message? I know you...
Sure.
Sorry.
So I really believe that we need to engage civil society in solving water. And we're all water professionals in some way, shape, or form. And we have a role to play. But unless we can speak to customers, consumers, people that know nothing about water in language that is very non-technical and compelling, it's going to take a long time for us to solve these issues. So, you know, for me, it's engaging with my rowing community and being an evangelist for stakeholders that either don't know anything about water or don't care. So I just think we can do a better job. And David, you know, you and I have talked about changing the language around these issues to make it approachable and compelling.
Thank you. I think we're going to wrap it up because the answers are long. I think today we will have closing remarks, by the way. Arno, I'm about to give you the floor to give some closing remarks and also to thank on behalf of The Future is Water, the program partners behind this. But I want to wrap this up a little bit based on the entire day. This morning, as I said, we were in roundtable sessions. And everyone was very passionate about this topic, but at the same time also so unknown about it. Some really felt that nothing is being done on this level yet. So I think that's another element we can touch upon is educating even more more people, more organizations, if it's sports organizations, industries, about this topic, that the opportunities there are out there, the partners are willing to cooperate, because we need to learn from other sectors. We've heard, I think, incredible stories from, of course, golf, sailing, from another industry, Mission H2. We have NOC, NSF here, we have the industry representing, and now it's all about collaborating to scale. And I would like to thank the panel, also the panel that was out there. I think we will mingle with the drinks. Then you can really talk to them one-on-one, because it was a little bit too scared to ask questions. And now I would like to ask Arno van Gerven, Managing Director of het Watersportverbond, to give the closing remarks before we have drinks.
Yes, I have the orange one. I'm superstitious. I hope you're still okay. The evening is falling over Amsterdam. You're still okay? Maybe a little bit thirsty. It's always an honor and a challenge to be the final speaker, so I hope you stay with me. To make you stay with me, I have a little surprise. I came across some inspiring words last week from a very experienced lady, and I found her willing to share those words again with you today. So let's take a look.
For more than 70 years, I have been lucky to meet and to know many of the world's great leaders. And I have perhaps come to understand a little about what made them special. It has sometimes been observed that what leaders do for their people today is government and politics. But what they do for the people of tomorrow, that is statesmanship. I, for one, hope that this conference will be one of those rare occasions where everyone will have the chance to rise above the politics of the moment and achieve true statesmanship.
Because I couldn't agree more, I want to show the Queen and you all how we take initiative towards the future, especially the future of water.
We are a land of water. The Netherlands evolved around water.
Steeds sneller stroomt het water tussen de einden.
Became infamous for it. Is its advocate. Because we need water now and in the future. We want to keep enjoying it. We are good at it. We have dominated the world for years.
Ze schrijft historie. Marit Bouwmeester. Onnavolgbaar wat Dorian van Rijsselbergen hier presteert.
And that we want to celebrate. We know a lot and are happy to pass this knowledge on. We are shaping tomorrow's champions. We feel responsible, want to right wrongs and improve our behavior.
Turning this problem into a solution.
We want to improve through innovation and do this together. Because whoever makes a pact with water and wind wins, wins and wins.
Wij zijn trots op het hele team.
Together we can care for water, glide through water, enjoy water and excel on water. We believe in the power of water and in the power of sport. Do you?
Let me say how excited we are to standing here at the Amsterdam International Water Week to launch our new initiative, The Future is Water. We couldn't wish for a better opportunity to connect two different worlds. The world of water technology and water sports. We have just heard two fantastic examples of how the world of sport can contribute. I reach out my hand to the Ocean Race, our big sister, to work together in the future. It is in a similar manner that we believe we can also make an impact on sustainability. Issues regarding, sustainable issues regarding water. With always the crucial control question top of mind. Can we do it in a credible way? In our sports, sailing, surfing, kiting, canoeing, supping and motorboat cruising, water is indispensable. It's on and with water that we enjoy our passion and live life to the full. It therefore makes sense that we look after the base that gives us so much joy. By using several assets the Royal Dutch Water Association already has and extend them, we want to create awareness around the issues we are facing. Let's make it specific. and talk you through the 4 assets of the future is water. Our athletes, this is the one with the blue arrow, they tell the story from their own observation. Up close, they experience the state of the water worldwide. We are proud our athletes are winners, and that we therefore belong to the best sailing nations in the world. They are heroes too. They are motivated to look after their playground. No one better than them can create awareness for the environmental challenges we are facing. It's up to us to give them more momentum and stage. Second, we have our own educational program. This educational program is part of our youth water sports introduction program called the Optimist on Tour. With Optimist on Tour, we travel through the whole of the Netherlands, bringing water sports to the children, giving the opportunity to discover the world of water sports and experience it, often for the first time in their lives. Before Optimist on Tour comes to town, our educational program is given at the primary schools, teaching children the ins and outs of the water. The program includes a real water laboratory where the kids can do all kinds of experiments with water. And it's a dream to show all the technique we have seen today in the program for the youth. We want to reach out to the future generation with water sports as the appealing packaging of an important message. We are working on more teaching material and a wider range of schools. Third, we are very excited to host some of the biggest sailing events in the world in the Netherlands the coming years. This includes the Youth World Championships in 2022 and the World Sailing Championships, including the parasailing one in 2023, all in The Hague in the Netherlands. Next year, we will also organize the first edition of the Dutch Water Week. In ambition, the biggest water sport event in the world, with the World Cup Allianz Regatta as its core. With the events, we reach a large audience. We can show innovations, as for example the emission coach boat, important in our sports, and we have the excellent opportunity to work on awareness, to discuss difficult subjects for a lot of people at the attractive and accessible stage of sports events. It lasts. The future of water will be an integral part of the upcoming events. And last but not least, we are an association of nearly 400 clubs and schools, sailing schools in the Netherlands, representing no less than 80,000 members. Again, a great opportunity to bind forces and make the difference with a lot of people. I have no doubt that the appealing world of water sports can contribute to the challenge of looking after our waters. And I'm happy that we've made the first step today. Or to put my conviction in other words, it would be a missed opportunity for our sports to do nothing. Because if we want to connect to the next generations and connect them to our sport, we have to communicate clearly what we stand for and what our social impact is. The generation of our children and grandchildren bases their sport choices and other choices on this. Thank you very much, all in the audience, and thank you very much, Menno and Eleanor, for having us here today. Lucy, Philip, yeah, how can I look at him? David, thank you for sharing your experience and proving that sports and environmental impact makes a great team. Paul, thank you for your belief in the future of water. Marceline, Joanna, William, Carolina, thank you for your participation today and the contribution, and I hope to the future as well. Annelies, thank you for moderating. You're here in front. Now it's time for some drinks, I hope. Thank you, Allianz, for offering the drinks. And we can forge this new partnership between water and sport during the drinks. Thank you all. Have a great evening.